James Kaufman, World News Report today. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the latest from Professor Avi Loeb and one of his colleagues on why 3i Atlas can't be a comet. Now, this is from today, i.e. the 1st of October. I'd like for y'all to listen to what he has to say. Now let me know what y'all think in the comments below.
A comet, by the way, just like a zebra is identified by its stripes, right? That's what, how do you tell the difference between a horse and a zebra? It's the stripe. Okay, so how do you tell a comet from a rock that doesn't have any eyes? You tell it by the cometary tail. Okay, that's what distinguishes a comet. And in this case, just yesterday, there was the first analysis of the image from the Hubble Space Telescope of this object. And guess what? There is no tail. But more importantly, there is glow in front of the object instead of behind it.
It's got headlights. It's got headlights. You're not celebrating Halloween this year. That's the take-home message.
Just as an English to English translation, if I'm summarizing, there is a large rock that most scientists think is a comet that is bigger than the size of Manhattan, hurling towards space or hurling through space, potentially towards the Earth, that you believe may be alien technology, potentially a mothership that does not have any of the signs of a comet, but has headlights potentially or a glow in front of it. And it's scheduled to arrive potentially on Earth on October 29th? Is that accurate?
Not to Earth, but to get closest to the sun along its path.
But Avi, it's going to appear when we can't see it, which would be the best time for it to make a sneaky maneuver.
Yes, exactly. You can argue like my colleagues do and say, the trajectory, it's just a random trajectory that happens to be fine-tuned and so perfectly aligned with all these planets. And, it's a coincidence that it happened to come closest to the sun when we can't see it. And it's a coincidence that it passes near all these other planets. By the way, even if you take this trajectory and just arrange for a random arrival time, you get 1 in 20,000 chance of it coming as close as it does to Jupiter, Mars, and Venus. It just fine-tuned in the sense that it also comes closest to those planets. Those planets are moving around the sun, in a circle, each of them. And they get to the point where 3i Atlas is just when it arrives there. Like, how can that happen?
Maybe you're crazy. Maybe they're just going to say, Avi's crazy. But is this sort of the way we have to think? Meaning, if you're going to open up the possibility that there's extraterrestrial life, it's got 1 million or billion years of head start on us, you have to open your mind to the possibility of what if. And so every time you see something that we can't yet explain or we can't yet measure, we get to open our minds and say, what if? What are the possibilities? What's the clinical, scientific, quantifiable way to examine it rather than just dismiss it?
Yeah, or assume that it's the same as we have seen before, because that's the usual approach of scientists, of anyone. And my point is that, in fact, I suggested establishing a new scale between 0 and 10, which is now called the Loeb scale, because I suggested it a month ago, and there was actually a paper yesterday that I co-authored about it. And the idea is 0 would be an object that definitely shows a cometary tail, okay, or looks like an asteroid, has all the characteristics that we are familiar with of a rock or an icy rock. That's 0. And 10 would be an object that is definitely technological because it maneuvers or has some artificial lights or has some unusual shape or transmits signals, something, or has, releases much more heat than you expect from the solar illumination. It has some engine that gives it additional heat. All of these signatures would raise a flag. And if it looks like it's technological, then there needs to be an organization that is international, because the aliens do not care how we split territories on this rock that we were born on. there is much more real estate out beyond Earth, and they would be completely amazed that we are worried.
They're like hippies. They don't believe in borders.
No, I mean, what we decide here on Earth is very local. We are obsessed with it. All our geopolitics is all about territories, and they would think, who cares? This is a tiny rock.
And there you have it, the latest on Comet 3i Atlas from Avi Loeb and one of his not-so-funny colleagues. It has headlights, but no tail. And I think that they mean to say that the tail, they believe, is, well, facing the wrong direction. That said, God bless you guys. I hope it doesn't arrive anytime soon, as I know you do as well. So we'll stick with that. I believe it's completely 100% a comet. This is not Avi Loeb's first time to, call out something that was a fabrication, and I would expect nothing else from someone. I know he's trying to think outside the box here, but I've seen no indications whatsoever that this is anything but a very large comet. God bless, share, subscribe, and always remember, anything's possible. Bizarro world.